Have you ever wondered, can I go away and make money on my property? Well, you definitely can, and you're going to want to listen to this episode as we talk about how you can make money while you're away during the FIFA World Cup 2026. And today we have the amazing Christa Rutherford of Sea to Sky Vacation Rental. Hi, Christa.
Hi, Diane.
Well, why don't we, before we get in, because this is a really exciting topic and really timely as we're coming towards the excitement of FIFA that is coming to the Vancouver area. Hi, Krista. Before we get in, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit more about you and your business, Sea to Sky Vacation Rental?
So I'm Krista. I own Sea to Sky Vacation Rental. We are a property hosting company on the North Shore. We help owners on the North Shore and immediate surrounding areas list and host their furnished short-term rental.
Amazing. And this is so timely, as I've said, FIFA's coming, and people maybe who haven't been thinking about doing vacation rentals, this is the time because as we're going to talk about today, there's actually big money in it. And so there's the little hook pulling people forward. But let me know, Krista, what inspired you to create your business, Sea to Sky Vacation Rental, and really to help people do this successfully?
Right. So about 10 years ago, I was looking for a way to supplement my income, make more money. My kids were young. I was capped in my current position, and I just wanted a little bit more. So I had a friend come to me and say, "Why don't you short-term rent your suite?" And I thought, yeah, maybe I could do that. We don't need all of that space. So I furnished it nicely and listed it, and I was quite successful. And at the beginning, my goal was just to cover our rent. That was my goal. Let's just cover the rent, see how much we can make. And then in a very short amount of time, it far exceeded that. And what happened was not only were we covering our rent, but we were also able to afford vacations. We funded a large family get together. So it was allowing me, the opportunity financially to do other things, whereas I wasn't able to do that before.
Wow, that just sounds like a dream, especially I'm seeing a lot of things in our local moms group saying, how are people affording things and where can I get a second job? But I know that people are not only strapped for cash, but they're strapped for time. They just don't have the time to take on a second or third job. And so, why don't you let us know? What type of homeowners do you typically work with, and what are some of the results that they've seen?
Right. So I work with busy professionals, people who, they're busy. They've got kids, they're renting a house, they're working outside of the home, and they want to be able to rent out their place or, their secondary unit. They just don't have the time to do so. They also don't want to have to manage any potential issues that might come up. That's where we come in.
That's great. And how about some examples of some clients that you've worked with? And let me know a little bit about some of the results they've had, maybe what they've gained, because I know that the ROI far exceeds any worry or obstacles that people have.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I work with all sorts of different demographics of owners across the North Shore. One particular client that I worked with in West Vancouver, lovely couple, beautiful home. They've been there 40 years and they decided to rent out their home with me and they were able to purchase a motorhome and drive across Canada. So they retired and they filled, a bucket list item for them and saw our country. So that was really great to see.
That is so cool because a lot of people think, oh, I have to do a reverse mortgage or I have to take out a loan against my house and then we're paying interest. And then there's all the issues that come with that, or maybe not being approved to be able to do that. And I've heard from people like, yeah, the one of the bucket list items being gonna go and travel, but so many people in retirement aren't able to actually retire. They have to keep working. And so I'm guessing that this was just an amazing extra income stream for them.
That's right. It allowed them to, knock something off their bucket list and not have to worry about how they were going to pay for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that was someone who's been in their home for a long time. Do you have any examples of any maybe families or any other results that have happened?
Definitely. Yeah. Especially people, who have maybe middle-aged kids and they're moving toward post-secondary. It's an expensive time in their lives. So I've had clients do that as well and be able to put their kids through university a lot easier than, what they were looking at alternatively finance-wise to be able to afford it.
Wow, that's a really great result. So being able to go and travel or being able to buy something like the motorhome or being able to put kids through university. I remember being in university myself, and one of my friends, she had to work basically a full-time job just to pay for university because her parents couldn't. And not to shame the parents, but it was really onerous of her to have to do that. And so this would be a really great gift that parents could give their children, even if they hadn't prepped for this in advance. So that's such a good result. I'm imagining too that money coming in would be really supportive for things like renovation or other types of vacations or other, maybe even paying for like health costs or something. Have you found that that happens with some of your
Definitely.
clients?
Absolutely. Everyone is in different walks of life and has different challenges or different needs and wants for their future. So if it's not a vacation, maybe they're needing to fund, like you said, healthcare or something else that's happening or might have just come up for them in their family. So this is a great way to do that.
Yeah, I was just talking to someone the other day who is also a business owner, and having a child, you don't get paid mat leave. And so this would be a great way to, okay, on mat leave, like take off with the baby and the family and be able to have income coming in. Now, if we look at FIFA, it is big. It is all over the news for soccer fans. Maybe not everyone is understanding what this really means. So, how is this going to affect the short-term housing market? And really, how can the listeners capitalize on this?
FIFA 2026 is enormous for our city. It's the world's largest sporting event. It's bigger than the Olympics. So the fact that it's coming here to Vancouver is very exciting, but with that brings some challenges. And I think City of Vancouver is seeing the shortfall in accommodation that we're going to be facing. So specifically, City of Vancouver is predicting that we will be short 70,000 beds. Now, that's quite a lot. So what are they doing to prepare? Well, they're opening dorms at UBC, they're opening RV sites, they are fast tracking the hotel builds downtown, but it's not going to be enough. So the demand is definitely there. And where are all these people going to stay?
Exactly. Now, I would think, okay, I'm going to look at hotels in the area. And being that I live in North Vancouver, one of the areas that you supply to, what are some of the hotels going for? Just to give us some idea about what is going to be there for hotels for people, and then comparing that to the benefit of someone booking for short-term rental.
Right. So typically we're seeing rates 3 times regular rates. Now, FIFA is coming in June and July next year, so it is during peak summer months. So we've seen anywhere from a 2-star hotel in downtown Vancouver be listed for 1,000 a night. We have similar 2-star motels in North Vancouver also going for about that, 6 or 1,000 per night. And then the more high-end hotels downtown are going for the 2 to 3,000 range per night. Now, when we compare that to a full single family detached home, for example, in North or West Vancouver, as a guest, I can say for myself, I would much prefer to enjoy a full home with, kitchen, laundry, yard, parking, but also everything that North and West Vancouver has to offer. Nature's at our doorstep. We're just a hop away over the bridge to attend all of the events downtown. So it really is a highly desirable area.
So, listeners, listen up. If you are in North Vancouver, BC, West Vancouver, or the immediate surrounding area, you're going to want to reach out to Christa now because inventory is going to be really low, and the people who are in first are going to make it big. Like you said, 3 times. That's pretty wild. And I know as a mother of two, when we go on vacation, using short-term rental is so much nicer. I'd rather cook our own meals and know what we're having than have to use a microwave in a hotel room and be right beside my children. So, what you're doing is going to help out both sides. So, what are some myths, though, that homeowners have about turning their property into a short-term rental?
Yeah, so one of the myths that comes up is that guests are bad guests. But when I think about that, I'm a guest too. And I'm sure you just mentioned like you're a guest too, right? And I can say for myself, I treat people's homes just the same as I would treat mine. So not all guests are bad. Another myth that comes up is that this is going to be a lot of work. And I help with that. I have support systems, I have a team of people behind me. We help you through from point one of getting licensed all the way to what, when the guests are in your home and taking care of them during their stay. Another myth that comes up is these new licensing requirements and regulations. So these were just put forward earlier this year down from the province, and I walk people through that as well.
That's fantastic because I know for me, thinking about, oh, right, having my family leave and setting this all up, and a lot of times the weight of that falls on the mom, the woman in the house. And so to know that you help with every step of the process, especially the things that we don't know what we don't know about licensing, and I'm sure there's certain expertise that you have that helps homes to either get in guaranteed or that you're able to inform people from the start this isn't going to work, they're not going to approve you. There's so many intricacies to it, so having you there to like do it for us or hold our hand is absolutely amazing. So it's good that you offer that like done for you experience. People are probably going to say, I'm just going to list it on myself, but they're not going to get that expertise, the hand holding. And what I'm guessing too is they're not going to get top dollar for that. Now, one other thing that might be coming up in people's minds is, yeah, but if I'm out of the house, how do I protect my place? How do I stop my neighbors complaining? Especially that couple who have that been in that place for 40 years, their whole neighborhood would be so mad at them if people came in and partied. So how do you prevent that?
Keeping our neighbors happy is very important. We have a tried and true 3-point plan. So we have a vetting process for 5-star guests. So this comes right from the messaging, seeing their profile reviews, and also using my experience from over a decade with this process. So, we can look into people and there's specific questions that we can ask to really gain a better understanding of what type of guest they will be while they're in our home. The next point is strict house rules that are enforceable. So this will really help with showing people how we care about our home and how we want you to treat our home. This will also include things like noise, parking, which will benefit the neighbors. The third point is communication. So I really pride myself on great communication, both with my clients and with my guests. It just really makes the overall experience that much better. People really want to know, how's it going? Like, are they liking my place? Are they liking North Vancouver? They want to know, especially if they're out of town, then that communication piece is really important.
True, very true. And some people might think, yeah, but I know how to I know how to use the Airbnb platform or I know how to use one of these other short-term platforms and they have support. And so I'm just going to do this myself, right? Many people think I can just do this myself. I'm going to save the commission. I'm not going to hire anyone. And what would you say to that? What kind of difference does professional hosting make?
Right. So I've been doing this a long time. Like I said earlier, I have a whole team behind me that backs me up. We're professional. We're high end. We are looking for a certain type of guest. We manage things like concierge services direct for our guests. So we really want to make their experience top notch and their Vancouver experience as a whole as best as it can be. And then there's other things that we do, like professional photos and things that are really going to provide clients with a better ROI so we can ask top dollar for their place.
Yeah. For sure. So I really like these different aspects. And you have the expertise that you've rented your own place, not as a professional, but as a mom. You were doing that yourself.
That's
And
right.
then you've moved to this place after a decade of being able to support many clients. And some people may think, well, I don't need photos. I don't need all of these things. But as you're saying, you want the right guest in your home and to pay that higher fee for it because they're looking for that better experience. And so you provide all of those different pieces. That's really going to save time, money, headaches for any of your clients. Now, what about things that maybe people feel overwhelmed by? Ah, I gotta pack my place. I have to declutter. There are repairs on our honey to-do list. How do you make those things easier for your clients?
Absolutely. Those questions come up a lot, and we have people for that. So, we have a handyman service. We have home decorators that will help pack and declutter and also organize as they're putting your home back together after the rental. So, we've partnered with these services to be able to offer the ease to our clients so that they're not overwhelmed.
That's great because part of why I hate going on vacation when we're like packing the car to go is because I'm packing the car. And then when we get back, I'm unpacking the car. And as much as it's like, well, everyone else can help, it often falls on the woman because it's, well, they know where things go
That's
or they
right.
have a certain way to do it. But having those professionals in to work alongside or to just do it for you is so great. And again, if you're getting the top dollar for the rental, it's going to be easy to be able to invest in the professionals to make it all happen. Red tape, I'm sure, is something people think about, right? They're in fear of like all the things that they need to do to make this a legal rental. Can you share
Mhm.
more about that?
For sure. So, insurance is a big question. We can walk you through that as well. Also, we are listing on well known worldly platforms. So, they also have their own insurance. So, you're covered that way. And then licensing. So, there is a municipal license as well as a provincial license. And again, we walk you through all of that step by step. If there's little intricacies that we need to advise on, to encourage you to qualify and receive the license, we do that with you. And then taxes. So, it is taxable income. You do need to claim it, but we advise on the expenses that you can write off with that income. So we help through all of that.
And then, so I'm guessing that would be the expenses that you can write off are the Sea to Sky vacation rental investment that is made in the beginning to get support, and then all the professionals that can support along the way. So that's actually a really good way to get your house decluttered, organized, and cleaned and be able to write it off.
That's
That sounds
right.
great. That sounds so good. Well, what if, like, give us some examples? Maybe some people are raring to go, but other homeowners are like, I'm hesitant. I don't know." Can you share an example of someone who has been hesitant, but then later they're like, wow, this is great. This has been such a great move for our family or for myself?
Definitely. So I can remember one particular client, they were very worried about who was going to be in their home. What type of guests are going to be here? How are they going to leave it? Are they going to like it? All of those questions that come up. And then, it turns out afterwards, they ended up being friends. So they did meet and they ended up being long-term friends. And the same group has rented their house multiple times now. So there's a great example of a positive outcome where there was this worry and stress, but really in the end it was like, okay, great. Like you guys, you're just like us, right?
And that's the thing. We are all guests as well. So
Yes.
we know what it's like to be a guest and we can be great guests. And then that's really cool, that idea of someone renting it once may become an annual renter of your place. That investment in the beginning can actually be returned to you over and over and over again. That's exactly how we want it to be. And I'm guessing with the kind of concierge style that you offer to guests, they're like, that was easy. That was top notch. I know what I'm getting, and I want to come back to one of the Sea to Sky vacation rental properties. Yeah. Let's look at the other extra touches. I know that you do that. That helps you to stand out for guests as well as clients. Let us know more about how you go that extra mile.
Right. So we really want to stand out for our guests. We really want to showcase Vancouver, showcase our properties, and be the best host that we can be. So we offer concierge type services for our guests. So things like fridge and bar stocking prior to check-in. Of course, with grocery orders and delivery now, you can order from anywhere, but why not have your fridge pre-stocked before you even check in? Then you can wake up, have your morning coffee, and not have to worry about having to order groceries. So that's a really great service that we offer. We also offer mid-stay cleaning. So for those guests that want more of a hotel type of experience, they're wanting their sheets refreshed, linens changed, we can offer that service as well. And then, of course, our local recommendations and expertise. I'm North Van born and raised. We have some really, really great local attractions here. So to be able to elevate the guest experience and make some local recommendations of places that you might not find on Instagram.
So good. I love that you think of both sides because a happy customer will come back or will refer, which means that just benefits your owners so much more. Well, walk us through. I'm sure a bunch of our listeners here are like, I'm in this area. I want to be part of this. So walk us through what happens from the moment a homeowner contacts you, how they do that, and then what's the step-by-step journey?
Right. So the first step would be to fill in the contact form on our website. And then that goes direct to me. And then we can book a call and just go over some things like, do you qualify for licensing? That sort of thing. That's really important. If we go through those questions and yes, you do qualify, then we can set complimentary in-home walkthrough. And there, I can get a better idea of the space, set up any kind of immediate recommendations for the space. And then from there, we can apply for licensing, set up the listing, and then make money.
And the last piece is the exciting part. And so that's really great that you offer these calls for people, really sharing your expertise in that time to make sure that it's the right decision for the homeowner. I really appreciate that you do that. So listeners, know that Christa does this for you. And so sign up, go to her contact form, put in your info, and that will help to know that you're even a fit to be able to do this process. And she'll answer any questions that you have. So that's really important. Now, people are probably wondering, well, what platforms do you use? And how do you ensure the property gets noticed above all the other competing properties?
Right. So we do use top internationally known platforms. We also use our own. So we also do our own internal marketing, and that's going to be globally. So we can partner with the platforms that we use as well as our own in-house marketing and really advertise our top elite properties that way.
Yeah, I noticed actually in reviewing some of the material that your company puts out that you have different packages that can offer like the right size and right fit for each one of your clients and give if people are wanting, well, I want mine featured first, you have that as an opportunity as well, which is really great so people can kind of choose their own adventure with renting out their home. And then last thing people might be thinking about is if something does go right, if there's a guest emergency, maintenance issue, the last thing I want to do is would be like be on a beach somewhere and then the guest is calling me saying there's a problem. So how does your team take care of this?
Right. So we partnered with a contracting and handyman business. So we're not waiting for trades. So if there's an emergency type situation, such as a plumbing leak or, a leaky faucet or something that needs attention immediately, then we're not waiting for those trades. So we just go in right away. Depending on the level of severity, I might just communicate that after. Hey, listen, we had this issue. It was taken care of. Guests are happy, no interruptions were happening, and we're good to go. So that when you are laying on that beach in Hawaii, you're not worrying about these things. You just know, oh, yeah, Christa, Sea to Sky, and her team, they just take care of this. I don't have to worry.
Oh, that is peace of mind for sure. Now, I'm gonna add in a couple more questions before we wrap up here. The I want to talk about the reality of it. Some people are going to say, well, if I'm going to do this, I want to be booked. How do I know I'm going to make money if I have to make investments to make this happen? And you do need to invest to make this happen. Otherwise, it's not going to go right and you're not going to get the best ROI. But like, what is the guarantee here? Will people be making money? Will they not? Will they get booked? Will they not? That's, I think, something that will run through people's minds.
So, I mean, nothing in life is guaranteed, right? So, but I can confidently say, especially with FIFA 2026 coming next year and the shortages in accommodation that we do have in Vancouver and what the city is predicting, I can confidently say that your home will be booked. And with all of the prep and the organization and the house rules and everything that we have in place, if we do it right from the get-go, then the guest will be happy and your place will be booked.
So for any of you that are thinking about doing this, just from my timeline point of view, you need to jump on this right now because as more things are announced, as more people are, getting tickets or making the plans, we know we plan for things like 6 months out. You want to be at the top of the list. You want to be the first properties out there that will get booked so that you can then rest surely knowing, oh, it's already fully booked. And then you can make your own plans. I think when you delay this, you're really leaving it more up to chance. And if you are listening to this episode later, still fill out the form, do the whole thing because, hey, everything might end up being scooped up and your new listing coming even weeks before could be a welcome sight to people. And also thinking about this isn't just about FIFA. I know it's like, okay, here's harvest time, do that. But there are going to be other people coming here for vacation, weddings. Maybe they need to pop into a place short term because they're relocating for a job, visiting family. There are so many other reasons above and beyond FIFA that's going to call on the demand and create more opportunity. And you're not just doing this for those certain weeks. So maybe Christy, you can talk about this. It's not just about FIFA time. Can people rent out their places the rest of the year?
So each municipality is slightly different when it comes to licensing, but for the most part, yes. So, that would be a unique situation for where you live in the specific property. But yeah, we can help you through that. And absolutely, you can rent at any time during the year. It doesn't have to be just for FIFA.
Nice. So there's an even greater ROI there for putting the investment in to make this happen. Awesome. And that if you can or can't. I think that's the key thing. Just book a call and you'll be able to find out.
That's
So
right.
as we wrap up here, is there a final message that you have to our listeners today?
Yeah, I'm really passionate about this. I'm interested in helping other people and make this really successful for them, being able to fund other aspects in their life. And, if you think this is right for you, then call me for a complimentary call and I'd love to chat more.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Krista. This has got me really excited about the opportunity. I'm going to be telling all my friends about it because it does help to really have people satisfy other goals in their life. So it's a really great opportunity. For all of you who are listening, obviously you need to reach out to Krista if you're in the North and West Vancouver area or immediate surrounding area. And all the links, all the stuff will be in the show notes. If you're watching on YouTube, then it's all going to be in the description. And if you haven't yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the dynamic women that we bring on today. Because while we talked more about FIFA and capitalizing on that, we can hear really around the cool business model that Krista has been able to put into place as a mom, building from a passion that she had had and seeing a demand out there and has been able to do that and make that life for herself with this business. If you haven't yet, also write a review. And when you do, take a screenshot of it, send it to team@dianerolston.com with your mailing address so we can send you a little something special in the mail. And until next time, stay dynamic. Bye.
Bye.